I'm with Rose Nasser from the Good Shepherd School here in Bethlehem area. What is the Good Shepherd School here?
It's a school for girls of all ages. They start from kindergarten, which is 4 years old, and they end up to the Tawjihi, which is 18 years old. In this school, we have 335 students. This school has been found a long time ago for helping out the people, all the Christians and the Muslims who cannot afford to pay the tuitions for the schools. So many of our girls are not paying their tuitions. We try to get help from outside, and we get some, but it's not that much.
So is Christian schooling important here for the community?
Christian schools are very, very important in this community because they teach religion as a start, because it's the city of peace, of Bethlehem, where Jesus was born. And at the same time, it gives a lot of good ideas to the students, and through the Christianity, because the Christians are from the West, they bring some of the ideas of the West to the people here, and it try to intermingle with our own culture. So in this area, our culture is so different. It intermingles from the West and the East.
What is the public educational system like here in Bethlehem?
Well, the public education is good. It's for all the schools, Christians and Muslims. It's quite good. It gives a lot of things to the students. And I think every student who finishes their Tawjihi, which is the last grade class, can go abroad and have their education outside in America, in England, in Italy, whatever.
Now, I have had friends who are 17 years of age. Is Tawjihi very difficult?
Tawjihi is really difficult because it's a little bit awkward in a sense that they have to study a lot, and they have to study many subjects, not as in the West. They can choose whatever they want, but here for the literal stream, they have to study geography, all geography, history, which is a little bit too hard sometimes for them. And the same thing for the science stream. They have physics, which some students don't really like the physics, so they have to study it in spite of them. And that's where the difficulty comes out.
Now, what sort of needs do the children have here in the school?
Well, Bethlehem is a poor country, because nowadays it's even more and more poor, because the wall that the Israelis has built all around Bethlehem and all around the West Bank has affected so much the people that affected the students. Now each student is affected by his parents through not being able to go to behind the walls and work. In the past they used to go, especially the builders. Work in this area is very limited to them, but if they go behind the walls, there is so much work and they can get so much money to support their children.
I know for the wall itself, it's very difficult for the parents because they can't travel. Do the children feel trapped here as well?
Yes, it's not only the parents, but the children too, in a sense, which I had the experience last year. I wanted to take the kids for a trip to visit just the zoo in Jerusalem, and where I wanted to take girls of 10 years old to 12 years old. We weren't allowed because we were supposed to take more than one bus, and there is only one bus can go. Now I'm talking about little ones. Now the older ones, where they have to have their permission, which is the paper that Israel puts the name of the person, the ID number, and all this. They are not allowed to go, let's say, to Nazareth, Haifa, to change, to see something different in their lives. What are the areas that are found in the West Bank? We can go one year, but not every year. We cannot do that. And that's what's affected the wall, had affected the children too.
Is there anything really for the children here in Bethlehem and in the Palestinian areas? You know, we have in the West, you can go swimming, you can play bowling, laser quest. Is there really anything for the children, or do they feel like there's nothing here?
All we have here is swimming, and the swimming is usually during the summer most of the time. During winter we have a swimming area, but it's very limited and not everybody can afford and go do that. Now swimming in this area, we have it, it's true, but we have to pay a lot of money. Now if we can go behind the wall, we can go swim in an area where you don't have to pay money. So that's the problem here. Any other activities, we really don't have that much. We have a little bit of football and basketball. Not as in the West, you have rugby, you have so many of these.
Now there's a sense that the children here are living in a war zone. How does that affect them?
Well, it affected them, but as a school, they got used to it, and as a school, we are trying as teachers not to let them get affected by that.
Do they pick up a sense of hatred sometimes for Israel that you have to deal with?
Definitely, that hatred is always going to be found here. Because this hatred comes seeing the situation in Gaza. Okay, if Gaza is far away from us, but the children are affected because they have their parents, their relatives there, and that's a shame for they're upset about that.
Do they talk about things like that in the school playground?
Sometimes a little bit, but we don't allow it so that we will not make them more furious. So we try to calm things down, because this is a place to study, not to discuss political things.
Now the Bible talks about loving your neighbor. How easy is it to help the children to love their neighbor even when they see many, many things that are happening on the news?
Well, we try to, as Jesus taught us, we try that with our kids. So that's why I'm saying we don't let the political situation interfere in our schools, in our studies, and we try to calm it down whenever this is brought up.
Now, is there a sense of naivety with the children? They don't experience things that Western children experience?
Well, I'm sure they are affected by that, but this is our life, and like in a sense we can say we get used to this kind of life, which is a hard life. There is a hatred in it, but what can we do? This is our life.
Yeah. Now, activities. What sort of activities does the school do here?
Well, we have the Dabke. They come. They have music.
Do you just want to explain what Dabke is?
Dabke is some kind of a dance, but it's a completely different kind of like the Western dancing. It's more stamping on the floor, and the music is Arabic music, totally Arabic. And the uniform they wear, it's something for the Arabs. So they have the uniform of the Arabs, the way the Arabs dance by stamping on the floor, kneeling down, jumping in the air. That's how it is, our Dabke.
Do they get the chance to do competition with that?
Well, in our school right now, no, we're not doing that. We do competitions in gym only. Let's say they go with other schools for basketball or baseball, basketball and tennis.
Now we've talked about the naivety of children. Is there a drug problem and a smoking problem here in the schools in Bethlehem?
We are far away from our school from that. We don't have that problem at all. We don't have the problem of smoking. Don't forget that this school is for girls only, and we don't have that.
Now, what's it like for you teaching in an area where Jesus was born?
It's really very touching to teach in Bethlehem. This is the place where Jesus was born, who is the Prince of Peace. But unfortunately, we are not experiencing that peace. We learn about Jesus through his teaching in we learn so much about Jesus, about his life, everything in his during teaching Christian religion, and sometimes we even now I'm talking for the Christian religion, but for the Muslims, we tell them about Jesus by taking them, especially the little ones, to go and see the place where Jesus was born. And for the Christians too, and sometimes the Muslims, we show them films because we have film, we have a library where we can show films about whatever is needed.
So do you have a Christian assembly every morning as well where they can come and worship God?
Well, our assembly, no, we don't really assemble. All we do is before the bell, after the bell rings, they say a prayer. Depends whatever the teacher say. That's all.
Okay, well, Rose, well, thank you very much.
You're welcome.